Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Jacob Bluestein here, building Transplant Coach in public to a $100 million SaaS platform. In these videos, we go over weekly Q&A we get from real customers, real patients. We share the data with you live, how many paid ad consults we had come in, how many organic, and what we're building, what we've done since the last video, and where we're going. Let's dive in. So this video and these updates, we're going to tell there's a lot to go over. So I'm going to do a little less on the Q&A side. I want to talk more today about the building in public, which I think is the meatier bit and also kind of fascinating because we made a ton of changes. So the last couple of videos, it was all about getting our VSLs up, our pre-VSL, which is our 2 to 5 minute just quick pitch of, hey, you've landed on our page. Here's what our product does. If you have these problems, book the call. We can help you out. That's done. That's implemented on here. We also have the post-booking version where if you book the call, then you get to see a 20-minute long video where we go over every single possible frequently asked question customers have had, to the tunes of like 1,000 plus customers. So the sales funnel and structure of Transplant Coach is built. It's here, it's there. Minor tweaks since the last video that I recorded. We added a trust mini bar. Just kind of hit some of those key credibility points that people would be interested to know, because medical niche products are very high trust and easy skepticism. So we put our 5-star Google rating on here. We just make it very quick. 5 years faster on average is how much faster people transplant on our platform, and that we're powered by OPN data, OPTN, which is the federal government data these hospitals report. So we don't make the data up ourselves that tell us where to get a kidney. We pull that from the government. So we have our previous video. We also slimmed it down on mobile to make it just super easy and clear. Like we want 3 seconds or less. The transplant page, what it costs, and if you want additional information. You want a kidney sooner, here's our video explaining it. In your CTA, this is our free lead magnet anyone can use if they want to self-list, for example. We have our testimonials. This one came in from Cassie about a couple weeks ago, which was great, so we added a second one here. And our process, we'll overhaul, like reiterating, here's the process, but this is kind of the quick and dirty. We updated our FAQs as well to be closer to what I talk about in the video to just make more sense. The About Us, which we might collapse, and then testimonials. Now, let's talk about how we've actually performed, which I think is the most interesting piece, and we've made a change that's a little controversial, but I'm going to talk through it because I believe it was the right thing to do. So I promised in the last video I would have an actual funnel ready to talk through, and we built one. You're welcome. So by month, since we started tracking this stuff, and since we really got into this, 100%, we have 4 sources that people can come find us. One is a healthcare provider, your doctor, nurse, social worker, family or friends, which sounds a bit odd, but I've come to believe what this really means is, hey, I heard about Transplant Coach, I saw it on a TikTok video or whatever, you check it out. I think that's where our family and friends are coming in, because kidney disease is common, but it's not so common that, it'd be like, hey, I bought this pair of shoes, let me tell my friends about it, and they'll buy. Social media, which is really just crushing it for us. It's our main channel, frankly, at this point. That's our TikTok videos. I'm also excited to announce that we're doing TikTok lives now with other kidney disease influencers. First one is going to be today, the 4th of December at 1 o'clock. So really excited to see how that goes, where we just talk about their story, my story, multi-listing. And the last one's Google, paid search ads. So since we started tracking this stuff in October, we've had 54 consults booked, 37 showed, and 5 closes for 15,000. Now, it's cool that we get to track this. Not surprisingly, the show rate is highest with the most trusted channels and lowest with the lowest trust channels, which you would kind of expect. So healthcare provider, if your doctor tells you or family or friends tell you, that's going to be the highest form of trust. And then social media, at least you can put my name, the name to a face, because I'm the one talking about it. And the lowest trust is I saw a Google ad. And in the beginning, we were like, why are we getting such low show rates, particularly amongst Google and social media? So November was kind of the first full month. So that's what I'm going to use as our reference point. 63%, 67%. And I said, okay, what if I look at this by insurance type? Because you can only have one of 3 primary insurances. The first is private, from your employer, your job. The second is Medicare. When you have a GFR of less than 20, which means kidney failure, you automatically become eligible for a special Medicare benefit. Usually people over the age of 65, 67 are only eligible for that. But kidney failure patients are eligible as well. So you can have that as your primary insurance, or lastly, you can have Medicaid as your primary insurance, which is a specific government-sponsored insurance plan for people based on their income. So it's for lower income folks. Now, we noticed, as we're going through here, if we segment it by insurance, the people with private insurance show up 100% of the time, and they buy like 25% of the time. And we said, okay, cool. Medicare, people showed up like 80% of the time and bought 10% of the time. So still viable, still good. And then we pulled out just the Medicaid crowd, which here I can do as well. If I do by insurance. So if we show only Medicaid, we get 20 consults booked, and they still come in through social media, Google, One Family of Friends, and 10 showed. So 50% of the people who have Medicaid show up to the appointment, and 0% of them bought. Okay. So we added a filter up front when you go to book the call that says, by the way, we already asked what insurance you have. And I have a trigger in there now that says, if you have Medicaid as your selection, it prompts a second question. And that is, hey, just want to double check. This is a private product that's not covered by insurance, and you pay out of pocket for it. Just want to confirm that's in the budget. And yes or no. Yes, I can afford it. No, I can't. And if the answer is no, then I take you to a separate page where I give you all the directions to self-list. And I say, hey, thank you for your honesty. No judgment here. We've built out this special product that's free for Medicaid people. And we can give it to you for free because I'm not I'm not the one going through and doing the work for you. I give you all the instructions on how to self-list, which anyone could do anyway from the start. You can just go to the homepage, find a hospital, and then call them and do the application yourself. Totally doable. People do it all the time. But we've found a way to segment and kind of take them out of the main traffic, which is good because it means there's less sales fatigue. There will be a little less people booking, but of those book calls, more people are going to show up and more people are going to buy, which makes us more scalable and it makes us easier. Now, at some point, we will come out with another paid product just for not necessarily Medicaid, but people who can't afford the service. That's just like maybe an add-on for a couple $100. So that was a really big and difficult change that we wanted to make because there was an ethical concern there. It's like, well, I don't want to exclude anyone based on insurance. I don't want to exclude anyone based on pricing. Is there still a pathway for them to get listed for a faster transplant? And the answer is yes, because that's how we built the software. Anyone can go here to the homepage, the lead magnet, which is free, and say, okay, here are the hospitals. Oh, this one seems pretty good. This one's near where I live. Let me Google them, fill out the application, and submit. So still doable, but we're really excited to see how that helps us over the course of the next 6 to 12 months as we scale up our ads. So that's the big piece I wanted to share in this video. That's the big change. Otherwise, on the Google Ads side, we're scaling slowly but surely. 20% week over week is the most we can improve the budget without breaking the Google algorithm. That's our one lead source, and our second main lead source is social media, and that's where I'm pouring most of my time into. So we're trying to collaborate. We're collaborating with other influencers who don't run businesses. They just share their story, and they're really amazing dialysis warriors, and they're wonderful stories, and they've amassed followings of 50 to 150,000 people. So collaborating with them is going to be a big step here. We're going to increase the videos that we output. So far on analytics, if we go just TikTok, total post activity in the last 90 days, 209. If I go to all, that way I can see everything. Yeah. So TikTok, we're still posting 3 videos a day, and we've had a couple of videos that go quote unquote viral, like 30K views or more. And this is it. We're at 6 conversions. We need to get to 10, and then I can start to modify some stuff. I can play with pricing. I can start recruiting for a patient advocate, either a registered nurse or someone who's simply experienced with kidney failure, to come in and start taking these calls for us and fulfilling them. And that's the next step. And the sort of long-term vision here is we want to get there within the next 90 days. Once we get to 4x this, 45,000 to 50,000 a month, 1 hire, maybe 1.5 hires, we pause and we say, okay, how do we take this and make it for nephrologists, like B2B? Because that's what I see is ultimately the most scalable, whether it's in kidneys or other organs, taking the software and making it usable for providers. And that way, we'll keep this going. This will always be our foundation, but that way, when nephrologists diagnose people with kidney disease, immediately they have the best transplant option ready for them, given to them by the person that they trust, which is typically their healthcare professional. So that's the plan. Easier said than done, obviously. Every day is like, every day feels like moving a mountain, but we're getting there. We're getting more positive testimonials, video testimonials. And in November alone, we got 3 people submitted, and I'm really excited to see their process. There's so much work to be done. So much work to be done, but we're getting there. And I want to be transparent. That's why I'm showing this all with you guys. And instead of building out some fancy CRM platform or whatever people get lost in the sauce with, this is it. This is our Bible. This is usually a funnel you'd see top to bottom, mine left to right, but it's the same thing. The month, sources, how many people booked, how many people showed, how many people bought, how much money was made, and then the show rates, the KPIs around them. Our cost per action here is referring to cost per consult. That's where our lead process starts. So we're obviously a bit higher than we want to be, but through better ads, through better TikTok copy, I'm also going to start doing personal stuff on TikTok instead of just doing like 1-minute videos of here's the topic of dialysis, here's this. I'm going to start sharing more about my story personally to add a little bit more authenticity and increase our reach. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for supporting, and we'll see you in the next video.